why wouldn't you? Please check out our brochures or visit pelicanfoundation.org to learn more about free upcoming happenings here. If you're not already getting Coach Magazine, you can also subscribe there. This evening we are honored to host Matt Bedette as part of 12, a series of performative koans. Tonight represents Chapter 3 in a collection of multidisciplinary performances that explore mental illness and healing. The project began earlier this month and continues into October at venues throughout Chicago. Matt Bedette grew up in Idaho and earned his BFA and MFA at Boise State, where he stayed on to teach in the printmaking department. He moved to Chicago in 2013. He's had solo exhibitions at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, 2 Moons in Brooklyn, the Chicago Printmakers Collaborative, and elsewhere. Bedette was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2004 and now serves on the advisory board for the Institute for Therapy Through the Arts and teaches in the Fine Arts Department at Loyola University, Chicago, and Northeastern Illinois University. His current project is supported through a 3 Arts residency in partnership with UIC Bodies of Work and Access Living. There are auditory guides for anyone who wants one. Just raise your hand. There are also books for sale and signing in the lobby after the reading, and we'll have time for some Q&A. But for now, please silence your gizmos, turn off any unlicensed recording devices, and join me in a warm welcome for Matt Bedette.
Shadow, shadow. Forming, forming. Pair, pair. Forming, forming, forming. Sounded, sounded, forming, sounded, 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 cure, cure, found, found, sounded, sounded, forming, 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 practice, 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 close, chair, chair, found, pair, found, 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 shadow, shadow, forming, shadow, forming, look, shadows, shadow, found, shadow, found, shadow, found, shadow, found, shadow, founded, shadow, founded, pairs, leaf, founded, pair, leaf, founded, pair, leaf, founded, leaf, founded, behind, 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 leaf, found, behind, leaf, fire, practice, 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 leaf, fire, cure, leaf, mirror, cure, sounded, pair, cure, sounded, book, leaf, book, shadow, book, leading, sounded, leading, sounded, leading, sounded, leading this, leaf, leading this, sounded, cure, forming, pair, cure, forming, shadows, forming, shadow, leading, 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 sounded, pair, leading, sounded, pair, leading, sounded, pair, leading, sounded, pair, leading, sounded, practice, lead, sounded, practice, sounded, practice, forming, cure, practice, forming, new one, practice, forming, new one, found, forming, new one, found this, new one, found this, sounded, 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 found leading, sounded, found leading, sounded, found leading, sounded, found leading, sounded, found this, sounded, found this, sounded, found this, sounded, found this, sounded, found leading, sounded, found leading, sounded, found leading, sounded, found, sounded, found forming, found forming, found forming, found forming, found forming, found forming, shadow, found forming, shadow, found forming, shadow, found leading, sound is leading, sound is leading, sound is leading, sound is founded, founded shadow, founded shadow, founded shadow, founded, founded pattern, founded pattern, founded pattern, founded pattern, founded pattern, founded pattern, leading, found 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 pattern, leading, found, leading, found, leading, found, leading, found, leading, sound, sound, found this, 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 forming, chair, found, 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 forming, chair, forming, chair, forming, chair, forming, chair, forming, chair, forming, chair, found chair, found chair, found chair, Founding 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 chair, sounded founding pair, 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 forming 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 founding pair, your 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 forming pair, your forming practice, your forming practice, your forming practice, shadow, forming practice, shadow, forming practice, shadow, forming practice, shadow, practice, shadow, practice, shadow, book, practice, shadow, practice, 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 forming, 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 forming.
I would like to share something not of my own. The next piece is actually a poem by Walt Whitman. Kind of a fitting place for a Whitman poem. This piece found its way into my vocabulary as I was coming to grasp what it meant for myself to struggle with a mental illness. And I always appreciated Whitman beforehand as a poet who was willing to experiment and willing to embrace a lot of things. And as I was diagnosed with schizophrenia and moving on from that, I found that not only was he experimental and passionate, but in many ways he continued to allow me permission to be insane, to appreciate madness for what it was and not for what I was told it was. The piece is titled 1 Hour to Madness and Joy. 1 hour to madness and joy. O furious, O confine me not. What is this that frees me so in storms? What do my shouts mid lightnings and raging winds mean? Oh, to drink the mystic delirium deeper than any other man, savage and tender aching. I bequeath them to you, my children. I tell them to you for reasons, O brighten and bright. Oh, to be yielded to you, whoever you are, and you to be yielded to me in defiance of the world. Oh, to return to paradise. Oh, bashful and feminine. Or to draw you to me, to plant on you for the first time the lips of a determined man. With a puzzle, the thrice tied knot, the deep and dark pool all untied and illumined. Oh, to speed where there is space enough and air enough at last. To be absolved of previous ties and conventions, I from mine and you from yours. To find a new unthought of nonchalance with the best of nature. To have the gag removed from one's mouth. To have the feeling today or any day that I am sufficient as I am. Something unimproved. Something in a trance. To escape utterly from others' anchors and holds. To drive free, to love free, to dash reckless and dangerous, to court destruction with taunts, with invitations. To ascend. To leap to the heavens of the love indicated to me. To rise thither with my inebriate soul. to be lost if it must be so. To feed the remainder of life 1 hour of fullness and freedom with one brief hour of madness. Enjoy it.
no such, there, no such,
thing as
there,
poetry.
there, thing, poetry, as such, no, is, such, there, thing, poetry, such, no, poetry, there, no, such, there, thing, no, as, poetry, such, no, thing, poetry, is, such, there, poetry, such, no, there, no, such, there, poetry, there, no,
In differentiating something, we occupy the parameters of poetry, rather than living in the breath,
such, no, such,
rather than
there,
living in
no,
entirety.
there, as, thing, there, no, poetry, such, no, is, thing, such, poetry, there, such, no, there, no, such, there, poetry, there, thing, poetry, as, such, no, is, such, there, thing, poetry, such, no, poetry, there, no, such, there, thing, no, as, poetry, such, no, thing, poetry, is, such, there, poetry, such, no, there, no, such, there, poetry, there, no, thing, poetry, as, such, no, such, is, thing, such, there, poetry,
Classify,
such,
in that action we solidify the object of classification. Its edges are set,
such,
no longer moves,
rather,
the reins open.
there, rather, no, such, poetry, there, thing, poetry, such, differentiating, such, there, thing, poetry, such, no, rather, there, no, such, there, thing, no, and, rather, such, no, thing, poetry, rather, such, there, poetry, such, no, rather, no, such, differentiating, rather, there, no, thing, poetry, such, no, such, thing,
solid, A is separate from B,
such,
I,
no,
separate from you, poetry is separate from poetry.
thing, such, poetry,
We have
such,
created the experiential duality. This act permits violence.
thing, poetry, such, no, thing, such, there, thing, poetry, such, no, poetry, there, no, such, there, no, poetry, such, no, thing, poetry, living, such, there, in poetry, such, rather, such, there, living, poetry, there, no, thing, poetry, such, no, such, thing, such, occupy, no, poetry, such, no, such, there, no,
Creating intended venture. Categorizing as such ego is useful.
it's such, no, classify, no, that, poetry, no, classification, there,
You still long enough to
classification, such, there, object, no, poetry, classify, thing, classification, such, no, such, there, and poetry, no, thing, poetry, classification, living, thing, such,
We define poetry, perhaps we could define our own identity. Even as I said, I put myself as separate. If we are separate, we may not be responsible. This act allows If I performed this on the train, you might not have for meaning in it. one confined, one confined, shouts, lightnings, drink, mystic, deeper, deeper, madness, joy. Oh, whoever. The puzzle, try to say, now, deeper. This, and deeper, and deep, yielded, mystic, deeper, reaching, winds, winds, what do my shouts mean? And then, today, right? Any deep, dark pool, deep, darker pool. Where's space? Where? Space and nonchalant nature. Today, spoke. Proved. This deeper. The puzzle. Praise stay dark. The deep and dark pool. All untied. And the moon. Go to speed when there's space enough. And air enough at last. To be absolved of previous. To be absolved. Or to be absolved. Previous ties and conventions, I affirm mine. And you for yours. Define new unthought of nonchalance, peasant nature. To have the gag removed from one's mouth. To have the feeling today or any day that I am sufficient as I am. We have a little time if anybody has questions. You're welcome to ask those. Also, I believe as everybody came in, they got a questionnaire from one of the volunteers. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out before you leave and handing that back to them, that's greatly appreciated. You don't have questions? Fine.
I apologize, I came in late, so you may have already addressed this. When did you start writing, expressing yourself in poetry?
As a child, not like this. But I certainly was interested in poetry very young. Hard to say. For me, visual art and poetry always went together, and I just did the two of them. activity. And it always just sort of came along with things. It's a little hard to pinpoint exactly, but definitely from a young age. And then after being diagnosed in 2004 with schizophrenia, I definitely had to reimagine what language was. Because language structures, the way that we simply even communicate with people wasn't the same. Words were very loosely associated. They didn't mean what they were supposed to mean. It was easy to get lost in words. And so I would say for sure in 2004 there was a distinct shift in what I felt like I was doing with poetry before and the personal aspect it took on later following that and how it reshaped a lot of my life in very abstract kind of ways. And I think language is a part of this and why poetry is a unique aspect to this is that I feel that poetry always, when I was young and growing up, I always offered a way of understanding the world indirectly. You kind of escape into this and you get these words that really explain the essence of a situation in a way that makes more sense than the situation sometimes does. But how, after being diagnosed, that shift for me, that understanding of poetry before allowed me to use poetry as a way to say these abstract experiences that I have are beyond difficult to comprehend. Unless you go through it, there's no real way to experience it. But this sort of abstract poetry, this sort of broken up language, visual art, that's how I can get you close. We can share something in there, I think.
I would just like to thank you for saying that capturing abstract experiences in a format like abstract poetry, I think is so significant in that it's a way of getting at abstract experiences within what would be considered traditional genre of poetry, but broadening it right to the abstract and then in turn challenging the concept of poetry. I think it's certainly powerful work, so thank you for that. And it leads to a question I would have to admit I was wondering, which is how do you capture abstract experiences in that way? That is to say, how did you write this down, and how did it come to align with the visual? How do you make that happen in your work?
You know, you drink to the muses and they bestow wisdom. No, I've learned for myself, because I'm basing a lot of my work on really, really personal experiences, that my sort of rule number one is that I have to absolutely trust myself. I have to know going into it that my mind may disagree with what I put down on the paper, but my body knows what it's doing. And I have to trust that, which is not easy at first, because I'm an MFA and I'm scribbling, and I'm supposed to take that serious. So there was a little bit of that became difficult, but I definitely, as I progress in creating projects, I try to pinpoint maybe a group of experiences or a group of symptoms. Sometimes it is related to psychopharmacology, so it's based in listing off medications, so it's a little bit more concrete in some terms. But as I pinpoint certain things and I say, all right, for tonight specifically, I wanted to focus on two aspects, auditory hallucinations and something that's termed alogia, is this inability to speak, this can't complete things. And so going back to trusting my body knows what that's like. My mind doesn't. My mind tries to rationalize that experience and say, well, this is Freud would say, it's your mother's fault. Come on, right? Like, my body knows what it's doing. And so, as I say, okay, how do I describe this? It comes down to scribbling. A lot of the words on that, the black part of where I'm actually in the film doing things, again, it's very instinctual, where I was in high school, I really loved Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg, those guys. And you hear the stories of them like sitting at a typewriter and just typing, just letting it all out. I wouldn't say it's too dissimilar, where I just sit and write words. However, mine don't turn into a great American novel. But I think that what it does do, for me, it follows very much what you see up there. There'll be a word, and it's underlined and repeated and crossed out, as I try to grapple with, like, is that really the word I want? No, it's not. Wait, maybe it is. Well, what then if I put it over something else? I don't even know what the line is. Is it like a division problem? Is it separating? Is it a breath? But it's those kinds of challenges in language for myself that seem to feed this deeply abstract need to say it isn't anything, and I have to be okay with that on some level to really understand and experience the schizophrenia. I can't rationalize it. I can't try to put words behind everything because you lose the abstract. And so finding a way to just settle into breathing and experiencing for moments. Not to say it's not difficult or challenging or painful, but I'm not entirely sure I answered your question. Maybe? Yeah. More or less. I feel like I sometimes just keep going.
I have a similar question relating to all the work, but especially that very interesting piece where you have two layers of dialogue. And the challenges of trying to think through how the recitation form is different than the form of the actual on the written page. Specifically, how do you, with that piece, how have you worked through how to represent that on the written page? And any comments about the challenges of both forms of recitation on the page would also be welcome.
This is one of those challenges that I face. Poetry is books, right? Like a lot of people have that written page in order to get the experience of it. A lot of the books that I do, and you'll notice there was one on your sheet that flows along with what we're doing. It doesn't have the dialogue, the written part. I haven't totally tackled how best that is represented, which is why performative poetry, for now, is the venue that I cherish, because it's so complex to have two voices simultaneously interacting, where it has a physical toll on me. I am not entirely sure I've grappled with how to get that into a written page, in a text, which I feel like, leading back to kind of the abstract, is why abstract in book form for me works, where I can put these things that you have to grapple with. There's a physical nature to what you're doing in interacting with the page, whether it's just tossing it in the trash, or like seriously contemplating and considering, or just enjoying. There's a physical interaction between those that I haven't personally been able to really, that last section, I haven't gotten it onto a book. I know that's not kind of a non-answer, but I find that the performative aspect is so critical for that one. That if you have solutions. I do feel like, if anything, I'm interested in not having it in hard copy form, but like a digital form, where it will flash, it will do things in a text form that might challenge the reading ability. that might begin to push aside the physical nature of the paper as text and start to say the language as a text interacts with you in a slightly different form. So I'm interested in that realm, maybe.
So the question you asked at the end of one of the sequences, if I had said this on a train, would you have not found meaning in it? Where you look for meaning in it? I think, I'm guessing, took everybody's breath away a little bit. I would just love for you to comment on that. And maybe tell us, I'm curious, Matt, how you, and if you, and how you interact with people who have mental illness, people who might have schizophrenia that you see in public.
So the first part of that, was
First part of that was simply your question, would you have
right.
wanted to
You
do?
found meaning on the train.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And that speaks to, you know,
Right.
like put it in a building like this, and then we're all, you know, curious and,
We come here because we're interested
Yeah.
and we have questions or we want to experience something. I think that that's important to have this experience. It's important to have aesthetic experiences in general because the aesthetic experiences that mediate are sometimes between what we live and what we experience in our world and what other people experience in theirs. And that offers an opportunity to go back out into the world with something different on your plate. And I think without the aesthetic experiences, we miss out on human opportunities to engage with each other, like on a train. If I'm mumbling and I'm doing this thing on the train, you're probably going to go to a different train car. You're going to sit on the other end of the train. You're not going to interact because it's too scary, because it's too difficult. Maybe you see yourself in it. Maybe, you know, there's all these questions can come up, but I think for me that's such an important question to ask because it's one thing to watch me up here doing my thing, but to leave you with something that says, now there's a challenge. Maybe you don't have to be afraid of that person. You don't have to sit next to them. There's still a comfort level to whatever you're doing, but what if you're not scared of it? What if you actually engage with it in a level where you can provide empathy? You can silently, you know, be there in a moment with them. That sometimes is more powerful. I think as a society, we're learning to shut off from it. And we're learning to push it to the perimeter. We're getting rid of it. We don't want to see it. And what I'm asking is that we look at it even harder. Because, and I say this a lot, we're all crazy. If you're not going to engage with the person on the train, you're probably not engaging with yourself at a certain level. You're not willing to admit some things to yourself. And I find that if we can start doing that, we can actually confront you. And it might be yourself, might be the person on the train, but we start to engage and interact in new ways that say we're human and we have to support each other. And that's more or less the goal of why that question is important in the piece. How do I interact with people on the train? People tend to make fun of me, and I don't know how this happens, but I get like seeked out by, I don't think I look the role of the crazy person, but for some reason, a lot of people will come up to me and, I was in San Francisco, and I had this really, we can walk around a corner and this gentleman comes up and he's yelling at me about how my dad stole land from him and he wants me to pay him money because the lawyer's fees and all these things. And he was clearly in a different state of mind. So I shook his hand. He was too agitated to like give him a hug. You go, dude. You got this. I shook his hand, and he stopped his mumbling. He walked off, and I'm sure accosted somebody else. But for a moment, it wasn't that I threatened him. I didn't, disregard him and his experience. But those are the things I try to do. I'm not equipped as a psychiatrist or psychologist to, let me sit down with you. We can get through this together. But I am equipped to say, like, I've had my experiences and I don't want to be ignored. And I don't want you to be ignored. Whatever that means, I think we can just sit for a moment with each other and not be afraid. A lot of times if I'm on the train, somebody's clearly agitated and in a different state, and I'm not going to confront that. I don't want to engage and make anything worse. But I try to not run away and not be afraid in some way to say, it's okay if you're having a moment, whatever you need. I'm just really here. Sometimes that's all I can do.
I have two questions. First question is, as a disabled artist myself, a lot of time that people are more interested in what my diagnosis is before they look at my art. And when I make visual art, it really shows my impairment. So I was wondering what your experience has been like. Have you tried presenting your work without letting people know that, hey, I have this diagnosis? Would it be a way to sort of shape the abstract space for the audience and see what happens? And how has people received your work, like knowing that, oh, this is a piece about mental illness? And I just wonder what your experiences has been like.
So that was a question that came up earlier on for me. It was like, okay, do I actually put it up front? Because in some ways I do want the anonymity of the disability to allow the art to express a lot of things, and then we can talk about later on. I've come for myself to say, I'm going to put it up front because I want to break everything you think about it. Schizophrenia is a scary thing, and it's so stigmatized that we have a set of beliefs about what somebody with it should act like, should say, what they should be doing. So I find that if I say up front, this is it, the audience member has an expectation, and then I can really play with them. I can kind of enjoy the ride as well, because we have to challenge each other. So for me, it was definitely a conscious choice to say up front, this is my disability. So it's a little, I think your question about setting up a space and having them interact with it is a really fascinating idea. And I would be curious, I've not done it, but I am curious with the idea of doing it and then getting results afterward. I can't imagine what you would have thought if you had sat through this without like, the knowledge ahead of time that this is about mental illness in some way. But for me, it's always been that conscious.
Can I ask my second part?
Yes.
It may be more like a comment. I want to go back to the conversation about seeing another person with mental illness on the train or in public spaces. I personally, I have a training as an art therapist, so I appreciate what you said about like sitting with another person and being in the same space. But I feel that a lot of time, for example, for so many of my Crip sisters, a lot of us, like, we're female and we're people of color and we cannot move as fast. So when we confront another person who may be expressing their psychosis, and a lot of time that we do want to make spaces for each other, but like we don't have the privilege to do that. And so I just want to recognize that. I love the idea of sitting and being with another person, but I think in this world, like, it's tricky.
And I totally acknowledge, like, I'm a 6-foot male. People don't really mess with me. I'm pretty intimidating. Really. No, just my size in general, people will leave me alone. So I definitely acknowledge that there's different levels of what one may feel as threatening in some way, and at times, questioning what's respectful, what's safe, what's allowed. I do think, I'm trying to remember who runs the program, but it's like a mental health first aid training. Last I saw it, it was run through Association House. And they run this first aid training, and anybody can just sign up for the course. And they basically teach you, when you see people who are having psychotic episodes of some sort, how do you respond to it? And they teach you, these are the people you would call, because police aren't always trained to deal with the mentally ill. So there actually are trained officers to deal with mental illness. But you have to know these things. You have to find ways through this system. So I do think, while we may not all be able to do one thing, there's a lot of newer opportunities coming around. There's mental health first aid training. I think even just being aware is a big step. Being present for events like this, going to other bodies of work events, other like Crip Slam with Access Living, ways that you can engage with communities in a safe way, where it's built to be a safe environment. I think those are also great opportunities to support and engage without having to be totally worried. Yeah. Thank you. Almost couldn't see your hand.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure you were done. Thank you, Matt. First, I wanted to say wonderful work. I was at the last one. Disclaimer, we're working together on one thing up. But I want to say that I agree with what you're saying about everyone's crazy, a little bit crazy, has a certain amount of craziness. And I was kind of chuckling back here because you said something about if you didn't have us introduce yourself as a person with schizophrenia, you would wonder what people might think of the performance. And I'm a sound person, and I perform, and I make vocal sounds. And there are people who do that also. I'm not the only one who, maybe I'm on the spectrum too, I don't know, somewhere. But, so in a way, it's like, I find what you're doing very normal. And I find it's very wonderful. And I'm approaching it from a musical sound background. So you're coming to where you are through your personal experience as someone living within this mode and your history. And I come to it from listening and hearing things and breaking things apart and just fragmenting things and putting them back together. And funny, arriving at a very similar place in some ways that we found out when we were working last week. It's not really a question. I think that commercial, you come to the one that we do together, I'd like to talk about that a little bit because it's quite interesting. There's an overlap and a similarity to what we do, but we approach it a very different way. We got in a very different direction. And your work and your art is amazing. And so,
Thank you.
So it's a little bit of a comment, but I guess I was wondering if you always use an interpreter or if that was just specific to this performance, because I found myself feeling like almost that she was a dancer and you were choreographing her moves, especially when things were super repetitive and were layered and she was making these gestures over and over, and it felt like very much that she was part of the performance. And I'm wondering if that was sort of a happy accident, or if you consider an interpreter part of the piece in other instances.
So this group of performances that I'm doing is the first time that I've really engaged with disability services in a wide range. Today was a little bit of a happy accident, as Steve Young was able to get an interpreter here. So my original plan, I had these auditory guys, because her job is not easy. I put them through the ringer. So there's auditory guides that is meant to, like, here's the sounds that are happening that relate to the visual. So today was a little bit of a happy accident in that Steve had invited her to participate today, and phenomenal.
Well, I thought it added a lot.
The dancing thing is a beautiful way to sing it.
And then sort of related to that, you said you gave her information ahead of time. Some of the sections that were sort of like the vocal sounds that someone else was talking about, is that fully scripted, or is any part of that improv, or?
It's very improvisational, slightly scripted. And so what I did was, as I was building the film and going through it several times on my own, I would say, what kind of sound would I make in this instance? And it's kind of funny to sit and make a sound and then try to spell it. Like, wait, is there an F in there or is that a P? You try to phonetically put these things together. It was a bit of a challenge, but when it came out was a list of KKKPF, and there'd be these rows of sounds. Now, whether I stayed entirely in line with that was questionable. But at least it was a structure that would give some guidance to anybody who may have a need for assistance. I think we're good. Thank you all for being here, and thank you to the Poetry Foundation for hosting us.